Welcome to Django Forms. Django Forms, or a form, is just a model-based form that is created directly from a model for ease, form creation, validation, and customizations. So what we have done previously, we have created a CRUD application using HTML form. So let me run this and have a look, run server, and have a look on what we have so far. So let's go into the browser using this link and excuse me. Okay, it is opened. Right. So let's create a task here. Let's say software testing. Okay, and we can say test as the description and hit save. You can see we are getting that has been saved. So if we head straight into list in this URL, you can see that we have these tasks. Okay, these are the tasks listed here. So what we've done is created and saving everything, even the edit, using direct HTML form here. You can see we were creating the labels, the inputs, and the buttons. So the purpose of this is to show you how you can actually eliminate every code, every HTML code here, the labels and the inputs, and directly use a Django model form. Okay, so Django model form, let's go ahead and create a Django model form. So we are going to create a file called forms inside our task app here, forms.py. As we have said that this form is going to be created directly from a model, we are going to define or we are going to import the model here. So firstly, let's import forms. So from uh, let's import the model first from dot models current folder, import task here. After importing this task, we want to define our form. So we define a class called task form here. And this task form is going to take a model form as a parameter. So you can see that model form is not okay. A model form is not imported. So we can say from Django import forms. Excuse me for the typos. Okay. After importing forms, we can also say instead of directly saying model form, we can say forms dot model form here. So this model form is going to come from forms here. So after defining a form like this, we can go ahead and say class inside and this meta, and we are going to set the model to be a task which we have imported, and we are going to set the fields two underscores and say or here and end with two underscores also. So what we've done is we are importing every field to become a form inside our form. So let me close these HTML forms and open a model. What we are doing is we are getting the name, the description, and the date inside our forms. Okay, so let's go ahead and save this. We have defined a form in Django, as you can see right now. After defining this form, what you need to do is we are going to simplify the logic inside our views so that we can use our newly defined forms. Okay, so here on the add request, we are going to import our forms firstly. So from period and forms, import uh, task form. Okay, right after importing task form, instead of getting a name and a description like this here. We are going to remove this, and we are going also to remove this statement, and we are also going to remove this. In fact, let's just remove everything except the return render, this one. So firstly, we have defined our form. We are going to define a variable called form, get the form from our form with a get method. So we are going to say task form here, and this task form takes nothing as a parameter. After that, we are going to define context dictionary here. So let's just say context and put it inside like form as our variable name and form as our actual data which we are passing. And after that, we are going to pass our context here. In this, we have just put a variable so that this can become more clean, more other than just passing a dictionary directly here. So if we save this and we go back into our browser and we head back into this for create, you can see that nothing has changed. Why? Because we are still rendering the HTML, the add HTML directly with our input fields. So we are going to remove these input fields here and the labels, right? And save. Let's refresh. I want to show you that there's nothing now except the button and a title called add task. So we are going to add our form inside this. Add our form, we are going to use this. This is what we use to actually render or to get the variables from our backend to our front end. So these two curly braces, we are going to put a form here and save again. You can see that there's no label, there's no input field. But if you go into the browser and refresh, we are going to get these two fields. And this was defined as a text area. So it has got a large box than this one. Okay. So now we have our form without writing any HTML form inside or any HTML form elements inside our browser here. So after having this, we are going back into the view and complete the logic. We are having our form now. So we want to test if the request method is post. Okay. And we want to get the data if the request method is equal to post, something like this. So to get the data, we are going to say form is assigned to task form with the request post. This is actually how you can get the data request.post here. This is how you can get the data from the form. And the next thing, now instead of just creating an object, we are going to test if the form is valid. So if form dot is valid, something like this, this is a function to check if the form is valid. And what do you want to do is to save the form. And this is also a function. After saving the form, we want to return or we want to redirect our page to the task list. So we have named our URL as task list, something like this. Okay. And if we save this one, we have completed the logic of creating a task here. Let's go into the browser and have a look. Let's refresh. Let's create a task here. Let's say training, okay, or training the usage. And this is just a dummy text. And let's hit submit. You can see that we have successfully added a new task here. Okay, so what we are going to do is we are going to bootstrap these templates or this HTML. So let's go ahead and bootstrap. Okay, excuse me, I haven't connected. So let me connect to my Wi-Fi here. Okay, and I'm getting Bootstrap. Let me get the Bootstrap. Instead of this, let me get a link from here. Let me copy this CSS link and go ahead and paste inside my HTML here. Let me collapse and edit here, save it. After saving this, we want to actually have this form bootstrapped. Okay, so you can see that this form is too ugly. Let me close this. If you go back to this one, you can see the form is too ugly. So we are going to style this form. For our purpose, we are going to style this form. So let's go ahead and try to style this form inside our forms.py. Okay, and after this, we want to add the widgets to this form. This is how you can style the form by adding what we call widgets, and open this. So we are having firstly a name as our first widget, and this name takes what we call forms dot text input, something like this. And this text input can take the attributes, something like this. And we open here. We want to put a class for bootstrapping this, and the class we can call form control here. After adding the class, we can also add a parameter called placeholder. So placeholder. I'm also going to say please enter the task name. Okay, and then the next widget which we are going to have is for description. From our model, these are the fields which we have. And what is this description is forms dot text area. Okay, and we are going to get the attributes also, and the attributes are going to be class. So let me just copy this class and placeholder and paste them here. I changed from name to description here. Description. After having this, you can also have the rows. Avoid having a much bigger text area, and put a value as 4 here. So this is how you can actually put the attributes to Bootstrap or to style your form. So you can see we have styled our form using Bootstrap. So if we go back into the browser and refresh, you can see that the text input or the inputs have changed. So we have bootstrapped our form. So this is how you can actually bootstrap a form, an HTML form. After bootstrapping it, it looks better. And after that, we can also let's go on and try to validate this form. Okay, so to validate this form, we can define a function here. Let me reduce the size a little bit so that you can see. Okay, let's define what we call a method to clean. Let's say clean name here. For cleaning the name, and it takes self as a parameter. This is a function initialization inside a class. So we can say name here is assigned to self dot cleaned data dot get, and what we want to get is the name, and we want to check if not name, we can raise, let's say raise validation validation error. Okay, so it comes from forms here. So let's say raise forms dot validation errors, and we can say name is, or task name is required here. Okay, and if not, we can actually retain the name, and we can also do this for our description. But as of now, let's just validate a name. Okay, so let's go ahead and test this in our browser. Let's refresh. If we try to submit, you can see that please fill out this field. Okay, and this is coming directly from Bootstrap, and because we haven't put a blank is equal to true when we created our model. Okay, so let's try to do something like that inside our name here, and let's allow blanks and save it again. And after that, let's go ahead and refresh. Okay, I have missed this also, description, and say blank is equal to true, and save it. So let's go ahead and refresh, and you can see now we are getting task name is required as our field validation. This is coming from this validation which we have just done in our forms.py. Okay, so we have created a form and validated it. So now we can try to go ahead and create this form, this task again. Let's say cooking house help, for instance, and save this. You can see we are getting these tasks as per our request. So we can go ahead and also remove inside our code. We can go ahead and remove inside update. We can replace with form here, right? And save this. After replacing this with forms, we can go ahead and let's copy this bootstrap URL here, the style, and paste it inside our update.html here. And after that, we have bootstrapped this. Let's save and go back to the views. Right, so here inside the views, we are going to remove also everything here, and leave retain, and we add the task form here using form. It's called task form, and we are going to get the instance because we are trying to update this certain task which we have get from the database here, so we can put it as an instance here. After that, we are going to say form here also is equal to task form with the request.post. Excuse me. After request.post here, we are also going to get the instance as task here. And after having this, we can check if form is valid dot is underscore valid before we save the form, and return redirect to what we call form list, our task list, I mean, something like this. And here we can pass the context. We will see we have passed the task. We can also pass the form here, and form. Let's save and go back inside our browser, and we can refresh this list. As you can see, if you click any link here you are going to be taken straight into this update task template with the details field or the model or with the object which you want to update filled in. You can see we have cooking and house help, and you can actually update it. Let's say updated here, and update task. You can see we have updated here. So this is what you need to know about Django model forms. This is all for this lecture. And please, if you are new to this channel, make sure to subscribe, like, and share so that you can receive new notifications on my new videos. We are going to embark on a journey to create real-world applications, and I will show you how you can actually develop an application and host it somewhere so that people can actually access it. So this is the basic introductory part of the create, read, update, and delete operations, which is called CRUD operations. See you in the next lectures.